Age Radio Australia just hit 1 o'clock, like by the few seconds there. And Brandon, if you ever fall, I will pick you up, mate. I will.
Thank you very much.
I'm here to help, you know.
Yeah.
It is time, of course, for the Crypto Hour of Power. I love saying that. It just feels so...
It does.
Oh,
It's got a bit of a...
I feel the inner grunt happening here, mate. Brilliant to have you here in the old studio. And we have a very special guest there on the old line. Have we got Julia there?
Hello, how are you today?
We are very well. I'll speak for Brandon.
Yes.
I'm well. I don't know, he's looking a little second-hand, but, you know, yeah it's just...
Oh, it's been a long week so far. It's only Tuesday, you know.
You're enjoying the school holidays, aren't you, buddy? Yeah.
Dude. It's hard to keep, especially when you're working, you know, and you work for yourself, and you know, it's hard to micromanage. But yeah, I'm getting there. We've been going to golf regularly. We went to golf again this morning, so I'm training her up on golf. So
I have been following her progress on the old interweb. Yes, very good on Facebook.
It's got a pretty good swing.
Better than mine, quite frankly. So you're doing well there. Hey, we've got Julia on the phone, as I say. Now, we're going to be talking about crypto because that's kind of what the show's all about.
Yes, the hint is in the name.
Yes, or your lovely daughter's golf game, although that's probably more exciting.
More exciting?
No, I might be talking it up a little bit.
What are you trying to say, brother?
I'm saying thank God you brought the Red Bull with you this morning. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Oh no, I'm only kidding, buddy. Let's jump into it. You've got some great projects on the go, and with Orange Brick Road, and obviously we want to talk to Julia about some other stuff as well.
Yes, yeah, 100%. This is the second time that Julie has been on, but this time we're going to actually record it. So we're going. Last time we forgot to record it, or it got lost or something. Oh. Yeah, but yeah, she's a returning guest, and just for full disclosure, she's a sister from a different mister. Yep, she's definitely one of my closest friends. But she works for a Blocksquare, does a lot of work with Tech Stack, and also as a consultant for Orange Brick Road. How you doing there, Julia? Once again, you good, mate?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me today again.
Yes, we're recording it this time.
Our pleasure.
Brilliant. All right, mate. Well, what we do when we normally start these shows is just get your resume out and just sort of give a bit of background what you did sort of pre-crypto and then going into crypto. So yeah, get the old resume out, mate. Ready? Go.
All right. So pre-crypto, my background is marketing, advertising, and media. So I come from the music industry. That's something that Brandon and myself have in common.
Yep.
But I'm coming from the music marketing or music media industry, basically. And then when I moved to Australia back in 2000, a long time ago, 14, I think, that's when I started to really work on my online businesses and online marketing skills, dived into that side of things. And then through previous online business I had, I found Bitcoin back in the day. And back then, Bitcoin was only $350.
Yep.
Oh.
And someone said to me, Julia, you should cash out in Bitcoin. And I said, Bitcoin, that gambling money.
Yep.
And before I even looked into it, I said already, no way. So I didn't. And that was probably one of my biggest mistakes I've ever made. And a year later, someone said to me again from the online business space, they said, hey, Julia, you should look into this Bitcoin thing. There's so much opportunity. And so I looked into it again in 2016. And then immediately I was like hooked pretty fast, and I imagined what else you can do with that blockchain technology apart from, I call it just Bitcoin. Bitcoin itself is a big thing. But very, very quick, it came clear to me that this is going to go not only impact the finance industry, it's going to impact many, many other industries. And so that's when I started to work in the online space for different companies in different industries, and now these days I focus on the blockchain for real estate space, basically.
Yeah, cool. So it's always a bit of a journey when you first get exposed to it, and then in my experience, even with clients, that they'll hear about it 4 or 5 times before they actually get into it. It's not like you hear it the first time and then jump into it. But there are, in my opinion anyway, like a lot of tech people and sort of online people or computer people pick it up pretty quickly, because of the whole, they've already got they're predisposed to it, sort of their understanding. But we're going into the real estate side of things, because I know that's primarily what we're going to be talking about today, is the tokenization of real estate. Where do you think the biggest... Well, no, actually, we'll get into that. I'll just write that down now. Hurdles. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Forget all that. What is tokenizing real estate?
Okay, what is tokenizing real estate?
You got 30 seconds. Go.
Right. I would say in general is tokenizing real estate means to create a digital representation of real estate that in the best case should be accessible for everyone. In order to make real estate shopping as easy as shopping clothes every day. Okay.
Oh, simple as that. Jeez, when I said 30 seconds, I was only joking. I didn't expect that level of efficiency. You're amazing.
Well, the efficiency, if you can't hear by the accent yet, Julia's German.
Yes. All right, what was I thinking?
Sometimes.
Very much to the point. All right, so, okay, I've got a house, all right, or Aaron's got because we are going to be having a conversation with Aaron about tokenizing the radio show. So, example, we've got, there's 2 aspects of this. One is the people that are using their investment onto the blockchain, and there are those that invest in it. So let's start off with... just say I own some property, and round figures, just say the property is worth $1 million. Okay?
Cool.
What do I do with it?
Okay, so we have 2 options. So let's talk today, because when we talk about real estate tokenization, there is many different ways how this could be done. At Blocksquare, we focus more on the infrastructure of real estate tokenization. So we want to create this, I would say, global standard, basically, how to tokenize real estate.
Okay.
And we basically focused on developing the technology to make that tokenization possible, and also, I would say, affordable. Because in the past, tokenization is nothing really new. There have been for many years different projects trying to tokenize real estate, but it was always very, very expensive. And if you have to actually, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to actually tokenize a property, then you're probably not going to do it unless it's a multi-million dollar big, massive project, right?
Sure.
And Blocksquare basically developed that tokenization protocol specifically for the real estate industry, and offers a white label solution for all real estate agencies or brokerages, for example, who would like to operate real estate and tokenized real estate marketplaces. At the same time, Blocksquare also developed a DeFi platform for real estate, a decentralized finance platform, its own marketplace, basically. And that is called Ocean Point. And I think this is what we should maybe focus on today.
Okay.
When we talk about how do we tokenize real estate in that space, can we make money from tokenizing real estate, and how can we invest in tokenized real estate? Because I find it easier just to focus on one example, because it's such a broad market.
Okay.
Righty-ody. Okay, so should we do a hypothetical
Let's
example?
do that. Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And you're going to have to break it down and keep it simple because Aaron is a part of the conversation.
Small words,
All right?
please.
Yes. Okay. If you can make Aaron understand, you can make pretty much anyone understand.
Oh, get Jemima and Big Ted involved. I'm just saying, okay? A bit of play school for me.
Jemima. Oh, what a weird name.
That's a long time ago. Anyway, Julia, please help.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier so the question was basically you have a property.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's worth $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
We tokenize it. What would happen now? So in tokenization, what we do at Blocksquare is we're dividing a property into 100,000 tokens.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what the value is of a property. It's always going to be divided by 100,000 tokens. And
Okay.
these tokens are basically backed by the real-world valuation of that property.
So they're backed by what?
By the real-world valuation of that property.
Okay. So if it was worth $1 million, then we've got what you said. How many tokens was it?
100,000.
100,000.
Okay.
So each token
$10
is
a
worth
token.
$10.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So by the time of the tokenization. Now, you don't have to tokenize, or you don't need to sell, for example, your entire property. So normally what you're saying is, I either keep my property, or I'm selling my property, or I refinance my property with another mortgage on it or whatsoever. Sometimes you're already let's say 100% financed or refinanced, so you cannot add another loan on it, right? You're basically maxed out. But it could be that you, for example, own 50% of the equity of that building, but you not want to sell, but you need cash to do renovation work or whatsoever. So tokenization comes here into the game as a alternative financing method for someone who would like to keep the property but would like to access the liquidity from the property without any banks involved.
Right. So say you had $100,000 worth of renos you want to do. You could tokenize just 100,000 of the 10% of the value without any dramas, or how does that work?
Yes, exactly. So you could, for example, just mint 10,000 tokens, which then represent 10% of the value of your property. Okay?
All right.
And now you have two things you can do with it on OceanPoint.
Okay.
Number one, and this is what we're currently focusing on the OceanPoint.fi platform. That's basically that DeFi platform for real estate. This is a very simple learning by doing experience, where we basically say, okay, we look at the value of your real world asset. We're creating that tokenization, and we provide that real world data about your property on the blockchain. And now we created that value, and we issue you tokens of that real property value, and you can use those tokens, and you can just stake them on the OceanPoint platform in an asset pool, we call it.
Right.
And what it does is it starts now creating a passive income for you as a real estate owner. And you now experience the first time, for example, that new revenue stream of coming from the blockchain ecosystem, the blockchain reward systems that are possible, without actually selling anything of your properties. We allow you basically to access liquidity in a new way, just by you learning and practicing how to use blockchain, crypto, and all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's number one step. So just to, familiarize real estate owners basically with what's possible in that space and how it works.
But before you move on, just there was a lot in that information just there, and we kind of want to keep it sort of simple to start with. We can get into the weeds a bit later, but example, $1 million property, you can tokenize, say, 100,000 of them, say you tokenize 20%, that gives you $200,000 worth of coins. right, of value, and then you can then stake them you can either take that $200,000, or you can then also, well, you can take half or percentage, or you can stake that $200,000 to earn a passive income. Is that correct?
Yes. So what you first said was like you can either take the 200,000 or you stake it.
Okay, so you can cash it out. Happy days.
So because if you want to cash it out, right, what would you need to do? Because it's your property tokens, right?
Sure.
So if you want to cash out the value of your real world asset, then you would need to offer that real world asset to the market.
Oh, okay.
So you would, for example, say, hey, Julia, here I just listed my property on the Ocean Point marketplace.
Yeah.
We have a secondary market trading platform there for real estate assets. So I just put it up there so you can buy it if you want. And I can then now go there and have a look at your property, let's say it's the building of the radio station, for example, and the radio station is paying every month so and so much rental to the property owner, which which is the revenue basically that this property generates.
Yep.
And I'm saying like, oh, you know what? This is actually interesting. I see that there's regular income happening, regular passive income from a real estate business.
Okay.
I actually like that kind of revenue stream. I would like to add that to my portfolio instead of buying, Ethereum or any other crypto and stake it somewhere for passive income. In this case, I actually purchased Brandon's tokens, and he's gonna pay me every month a portion of his rental income that property generates.
Okay, so hypothetically, you've out of the 1 million coins, you've got 100,000 coins, so now you have 10% virtual ownership of that. So you would get 10% of any revenue that business would generate?
For example, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if they sell the business? Do I get 10% of any profit?
So if they're selling the business, then they would also need to sell the ownership of the asset, right?
Okay.
Which means the moment the asset is being sold on the market, there has to be a buyback of my tokens happening. So the property owner is going to buy back the tokens that I purchased from him initially.
Oh, okay. So he has to buy back that liquidity.
Yes, and that buyback, exactly. So that is because the tokenization sits like a caveat on the title of the property.
Okay.
So if there's a title change, there is a basically token buyback happening. It's the same like a payback of your bank loans and all of that kind of stuff that's been happening. Right. That has to happen in a settlement process.
Now, I think I've got a lot of questions on this one. And looking at your face there, Brandon, I reckon you've got a few as well. So he always looks a bit questionable, but never mind. Time for a break. We'll be back in just a tick. Mate, it's one of your favourite songs, though.
Yes. Go Van Halen.
Edge Radio Australia, it is a lot like living in paradise, mate, with you in the studio. Yeah,
Thank you very much, mate. And in WA, it's kind of like living in paradise, but a socialist dystopian paradise.
One with razor wire, but it's all good.
For your safety.
Oh, those words, come on.
Yes. Oh, no, we could just go and we don't shut up while the songs are playing. And we don't. Going off in all sorts of directions. Oh, Julie, you still there, mate?
I'm still here.
Awesome. Can you hear the music when we go?
No, not really.
Oh,
No?
there you go. Oh, some people can. Maybe people have just got the music in their head. I don't know.
You got clanging cymbals in your head, mate. Just clang, clang, clang.
At least it stops the voices.
Yes. What is that? What is that joke? I'll remember it.
It'll
Actually, I'm
come
going to
to you
write it
later.
down.
Okay, note to self.
Sorry.
Joke
about killing yourself.
Oh, jeez, it's a really positive show. Thank you very much for that, Brandon. Lovely work.
Right. All right, Julia, sorry about that, mate. When we left off, or when we went away, I've written to where we're here. Okay, cool. So where we were at is, okay, say it's $1 million property, $200,000 you've got, and now you want to sell the property. Does that mean that you have to buy back all the tokens of people that own them?
Yes, because you basically have to pay back the people who bought into your property. It's like the same with any other financing you do, right? You cannot just sell something and then say see you later.
Yeah. What if they don't want to sell it?
Well, for example, it depends how you offered them. So you can set them with a 100% threshold. So you can basically say, and that's what we normally do on Ocean Point. We say, all right, you purchased the token for like $1, so we're gonna buy back the token. We're gonna buy back the token for $1. It doesn't matter where the valuation of the property goes. We don't let you participate in that. We only let you participate, for example, on the passive income side, the rental income side.
Okay.
Now, but it could be that you, for example, say, you know what, I want to make it more attractive for the token buyer, or maybe more risky for the token buyer, that depending, like, where you see it. And you can say, I would like to let the token buyer participate on the real world valuation of the property when I'm selling it, which means by the time you're selling it, the property can be worth more or can be worth less. Okay. So everyone would sell at a loss, which is not the best thing to do. However, if you are letting them participate on the price, you need to find the real world price, right? Okay. The same like you're listing your property on the market and you need to find a buyer who is agreeing to your price. So your initial token holders need to confirm a price for their asset-backed tokens. So you review the new valuation, I guess, from the property, and you offer that to your token holders. Okay. And let's say 30% of your token holders have to agree to that price in order to buy back the token.
So you preset the parameters by the sounds of it,
yes.
Right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So hypothetically, it's $1 million project. I've got 10%. Mm-hmm. It's then in 3, 4, 5 years, 8 years, what a time, it's now worth $1.5 million.
Right.
So my 10% is also the with the $500,000 as well.
Yes, yep. For example.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Now, it's all good to say this, but are there any lawyers involved, or any bankers, or any important people? Like how to it's all right to have this, and anyone can write up a PDF and go, oh yeah, here we go, and then sign it. But then how do you enforce it, and then how do you determine the parameters? How does that all work?
Mm-hmm. So the property owner must be a corporation. So for example, a company that holds a corporate resolution. And the agreement is basically written in that corporate resolution, which is the corporate law.
Okay.
And that is all done by lawyers. That's all done like any other contract you would actually do for a company, mm-hmm. and any other business deal you would sign with anyone else. And that corporate resolution is basically what's being tokenized. And which means I have ownership on that corporate resolution, or on that right. So I own the right.
You go on.
Of everything that got specified in that corporate resolution. So now, if you don't stick to that agreement, that corporate agreement, what would you do with someone in the, normal world, in the real world, where you have a contract with a person, and the person is not sticking to the contract under corporate law? What would you normally do?
Well, it's breach of contract, right?
Exactly.
Hunt them down.
Take them to court, for example.
Sure.
Like enforceable. So here we're facing the same. We have basically tokens created that are backed by real-world contract.
Okay.
Educated by smart legal contract, executed by smart legal contract.
Mm-hmm.
And just bring in that automation basically that is normally like missing in the execution of these kind of real estate deals.
Okay, so you have the corporate contract that's then put into a smart contract that then is instantly executed on that smart contract.
Yeah.
Okay, explain to everyone what a smart contract is.
Okay, so a smart contract is basically it's a set of code, like a smart legal contract is a set of code that basically is developed to execute terms and conditions.
Okay. So if this then basically, so it's a bit like how I look at smart contracts is it's like an Excel spreadsheet where you put in like times and then divided by and then equals, and then you put the numbers in and it just does it automatically.
Fills in all the gaps.
Yeah.
Okay.
It basically just complicates, not complicates.
No, simplifies.
Compute it.
Computes. Let's go computes. Can we deal with that? I don't know. It's a word that would see in it. There's a lot of them.
I'm struggling with the English.
So basically, isn't it basically that they're taking away that middleman function? Where we normally need, for example, the lawyer to execute something, but in this case, or like the accountant to execute something, or the bookkeeper or whatever. But the smart contract is basically doing that kind of admin step because it's all like pre-programmed what to do and what. Okay. So instead of having like 20 admin people, we might not need only one, for example.
Okay, so that cuts obviously the costs down a heck of a lot.
But
as well, yeah.
Yeah, it would a lot, but also the trust factor. I mean, like you could have a lawyer that's, whatever, and it goes into his accounts. And then he's off to Tahiti.
Yes.
Which does happen, people.
What do you call 100,000 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean, mate?
Good start.
Exactly.
Is that the answer?
That's the answer. No joke. That's it. Bang on. Oh, dear.
Yeah, okay.
Well, but never forget that a smart contract can only be as good as the legal contract that has been originally set up, right?
True.
If someone tries to scam you in the real world with a business agreement that you have, and then you give it to a programmer, and then the programmer takes that and puts exactly the same functionality in the smart contract, right? This is actually how scams are getting developed.
Gotcha.
That's exactly how it works, and where we can find plenty of scamming passive income smart contract platforms where they're just having in all their advertisements, they're using the right words, and people who do not really understand the entire world of cryptos and blockchain and all of that, they're just here, smart contract, I can trust this, guarantee payments, boom, I'm just going to go for it without checking anything.
Right.
So again, there's a big difference as well between smart contracts and smart legal contracts as well.
Oh, it's just so much. No wonder I hate lawyers.
Yes. That's one of many reasons.
Oh, it's a long list, actually, but there you go.
All right, so to simplify it, is like you can have a property and say you need some liquidity out of it, or you want to renovate or you want to upgrade or whatever it may be, and you don't necessarily want to approach a bank because who would? And then also do you have to go through, how banks pretty much want to know your shoe size, where you slept last night, what have you been eating regularly, how often you shower, every bloody thing, in order for them to give you money that didn't exist, that they pretty much in there, and they reckon they're trying to make sure that you're not a scammer, and you're legitimate, and what they're doing is completely illegitimate, which is the irony. So do you have that process in place, like like for example?
Yeah, so we do have a risk assessment framework in place which is conducted by our asset onboarding team at Blocksquare, and especially and it has been developed by our head of risk, Daniel Keynes. But so this is particularly for the property. For example, in the tokenization process, we want to see title ownership. So if you just come and say, oh, I'm going to tokenize the land, right? But you cannot prove that it's actually yours, we're not going to tokenize it. Okay, and that is a very, very important thing, because you have to be very careful out there. Only because someone says we tokenized an asset or this is asset tokenization, doesn't mean that this is really asset tokenization.
Now,
right?
Landgate have just actually stopped producing actual title in paperwork form. Apparently, we've just got to trust them and be done with that. So how does that work? Like, as far as, because you'll need that documentation, obviously, to show investors. So if Landgate here in Western Australia won't give that to you, because the state government have decided we can't be trusted with their own paperwork, how do you use that as evidence to get this whole process going?
Well, at the moment, so far, we still use actually CoreLogic and Landgate here in Western Australia to verify ownership. So normally when a owner is submitting the title document, most of the time they are getting it from Landgate. And myself, I just was a couple of days ago on Landgate. We needed a sales report of a property, so we just paid them and downloaded it. It's just a very centralized place of getting your data from. And this is where the beauty of blockchain might come in the future as well, because there is a lot of new real-world asset databases that are actually at the moment being developed and being set up in a decentralized way, not a centralized way, but that's a different chapter. So we need so in general, to tokenize a property, number one is proof of ownership.
Of course.
If there's no proof of ownership, then, forget about it. Then number two is proof of financing. So how much equity is owned by who? How much does bank own? How much do you own? Is there another investor included? And so on. Yep. Because you can tokenize only what you own.
Absolutely.
So if 60% of your property is owned by a bank, for example, then you cannot touch that. But you can touch that 40% that is your own equity.
Oh, right. Yeah, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? When you've got to actually own what you can tokenize.
You'd hope so, right?
Yeah, so that's pretty logical.
Exactly.
Sorry, mate, go.
I would say that's the beauty about it as well, that you actually can only tokenize 5%, 10% if you want to, if you choose to. Yep. You do not need to sell an entire asset you own just because whatever you need money to pay for the, aged care of your mom or something like that.
Or get a bank loan.
Yeah, and sometimes you cannot get another bank loan either,
that's right.
And a lot of people want to a lot of people want to step out of that system, let's face it, right?
100%.
Yeah, and interest rates are unpredictable at the moment. We don't even know what's going to happen. Yeah,
exactly. All right, well, we're going to go to another break, but when we come back, the important thing that most people want to know about crypto is what can I buy it and how much am I going to make out of it? All right, so we'll sort of dive into that when we come back. Another great song by Brandon. God, he's got good taste.
Julia's on the phone here, and we're doing the Orange Brick Road, sponsored no less. So, I don't know what's sponsored. I don't know what it is, I
don't know.
I've lost track, mate. It's called the Crypto Hour of Power, I know that. And you're wearing a shirt that says Orange Brick Road, and obviously I will say whatever's in front of me. It's as simple as that.
All right, I'm going to write some stuff down. And let's test that theory.
Oh, please don't. Dear. Now, let's get in. You have a big pile of questions there written down. We're talking about all sorts of information here. And as I say, we've got the wonderful Julia on the phone. Let's get into this tokenization.
Hey, Julia, you still there, mate?
I am.
You are.
Cool. All righty. Okay, well, so the big question with most people that's, listen to a crypto show or a YouTube on crypto or whatever is, how do I buy it and how much money can I make?
Yes.
Right? They want to know about the tech. They want to know about the interest. They just want to go, okay, how can I get hold of this stuff? So, like we talked about the actual, like investors or property owners to tokenize. What about the average civilian? Like, can I just buy this token and sort of make some money out of it?
Mm-hmm. So, for example, so as I mentioned before, Blocksquare also developed an entire ecosystem that all where there's a token flow around real estate and the real estate industry and economy, and that is called oceanpoint.fi, and that is basically the decentralized finance platform, and it has also a tokenized marketplace attached. That means you can either go on there and review the. There's now over 70 properties already tokenized and which are displayed in the marketplace.
Yep.
And some of them, mainly like they just launched 2 properties in Slovenia, for example.
Yep.
And these property tokens have been offered to buyers on the secondary market, which means on the marketplace, on the Ocean Point marketplace.
Okay.
And you can buy and purchase whatever you can afford. So you can buy yourself into a student house in Slovenia that generates 8% return a year, for example, from over 40 students that are homed in this student house. It's a big, Ljubljana is a big student city with over 40,000 students, I think, and that's a very central location where the student houses and the tenants signed the agreement for the lease already always 12 months in advance. So it's quite a stable rental income you can get from there, from your ownership in there. This is when you want to basically participate directly in the real estate market.
Yep.
By holding these asset tokens. And another choice you could make is that instead of basically owning that rental income, that 8% a year on your investment a year, you could, for example, say, you know what, I like to, maybe I want to pump it a little bit with cryptocurrency because I like actually the volatility of crypto. I like passive income from crypto through staking and that stuff. So this is where we have the different staking pools on the Ocean Point platform, where you can say, all right, instead of just getting the 8% rental fee, I donate basically my rental income to Ocean Point. Ocean Point uses that to buy back Blocksquare tokens of the market, for example. But yourself, you basically just stake the property value tokens you have on Ocean Point. And because it's early days and competition is still low, but the distribution is still high of the Blocksquare tokens. So there you're basically getting now a 40% return, for example, by staking in the asset pool instead. So, but you take the risk of earning a cryptocurrency reward, not a stablecoin income. You now earn cryptocurrency. Mm-hmm. And cryptocurrency, as you know, can be lower tomorrow and higher the next day. So you never.
Sure.
It's not it's turning into a different kind of income, which is basically bringing together the passive income side of real estate with the volatility and potential to high return of crypto.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just say you got the return of the 40% per annum, but the token itself went up 20%.
Okay.
So
you can do that as well, yeah. And you're stepping into the token reward ecosystem and not into the rental ecosystem, but you're using a real world asset to do this. So that is, for example, one thing. Or like there's different liquidity and staking pools on the website where people can participate and basically mix up crypto with real estate.
Yeah, 100%. And I've invested with on the BST, I've liked the returns, and we've looked into it and we've spent some time on it. Also, this podcast goes up on the YouTube channel, Orange Brick Road YouTube channel, and in the YouTube channel is a little instructional video on how to purchase the BST token.
That's helpful. Very helpful indeed.
Yes, it is. It's a little video. But if anyone, for example, wants to get involved in this and sort of understand it a bit more, obviously when this goes out on the podcast, we're going to have the links. How do they get hold of you, or how do they sort of do some more research? Where would someone go to from here that's interested?
Yeah, so first of all, call you, Brandon.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, call him what, though? Come on.
So our website is oceanpoint.fi.
Yep.
And we also have, you find Blocksquare as well on Twitter. We have Discord community group, Telegram community group, and also you can just reach out to us, to even here in Perth as well. You can just reach out to TechStack as well. We are also distributors for the Australian market here, and so there's different ways here in Australia to reach out to. But yeah, so I would always say the easiest is go on the oceanpoint.fi website, and then you find the social link there.
Yep.
And this is where you can click and basically choose the channel you want to communicate to.
Yeah, and it's like also if someone wants to get in contact on the orangebrickroad.com.au website, under consultants, you will see Julia there, and you will also see me. Nish is a guy that works in the background. He's basically the CTO of Orange Brick Road. He's a big real estate guy.
Right.
He's already got about 7 or 8 properties, or 6 or 7 properties, something
fantastic.
like that,
Wow,
involved in it. So because he knows, he travels in the real estate world. So yeah, if anyone needs any more information about this project, just go onto the Orange Brick Road website, do the links with on Blocksquare, the oceanpoint.fi, and I think that's about all we've got time for.
Yeah, apart from the fact that I think that myself and Julia need to have a bit of a talk, to be honest with you. I think that there's a lot of opportunities here, a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
And it's look, it's not even a brave new world anymore, quite frankly. It's just become such an accepted part of how we do finance now, the crypto world. So
I think it's just a new world and you have to be brave.
yes.
I think one
I like it.
I think one thing is as well that it's not only about financing, it's also about, depending on the project you're running, but it's also about community engagement.
Completely
It's
agree.
about that, it might be in social housing that now tenants can have part ownership. It might be in Airbnb that you offer your holiday makers a cashback from other tenants who are renting their home. It might be that your own radio show. Imagine you have a tokenized radio show, and your listeners can be like, you know what? I not only want to support this radio show by actually, buying in through that, but also it can be used to grow other areas of the business. But you're utilizing the property you own in order to do that.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely.
So with that, you add that safety for the investor level. Because it's sometimes it's safer to invest in property than it is to invest into a business, for example.
Yeah,
it always depends on the asset, of course.
Of course.
Well, this is a conversation we're definitely going to have. So let's tokenize this radio station. Let's have the first radio station. Just do
Why not? Why not? Oh, temptation. Look at this. All right, it is the end of the show. Thank you very much, Julia, for being part of the Crypto Hour of Power. And, of course, the replay will be happening this Sunday.
4 o'clock. All right, thanks, Julia. Talk soon, mate.